Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is the final exam review packet, and it's basically 75 questions of the problems that you're gonna have in the final exam. Okay, so if you guys are good to go with this, you'll be good to go for the final exam. All right, so make sure you have your calculators. I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly here, not to bore you guys, but just to kind of go cover every type of problem. All right, so the first problem is you got to do everything inside that absolute value first. So if I do 4 minus 10, so I'm going to get, basically I get 4 minus 10 is negative 6, and then it's the absolute value of negative 6. So you're still doing the absolute value. Keep it on the outside. So the absolute value of negative 6 is 6, but you still have the negative on the outside. That's why the answer is negative 6. Okay. This next one, you could actually do this all in your calculator if you just use parentheses. You could do that. If you just typed in 24 minus 3 squared, close parenthesis, divided by 2 squared minus 7, that would give you your answer. But if I do a little bit manual here, 24 minus 3 squared, so minus 9 over 4 minus 7. Okay, so 24 minus 9 is 15, and 4 minus 7 is negative 3. So you get negative 5. But just putting in your calculator, it's really, really convenient. Okay? All right, 3x times 3x. Remember, it's 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. Okay, that's an easy one. So it's 9x squared. Simplify. Remember when you're raising a power to a power, I'm going to do each one of these. So it's going to be 2 to the 4th power. This is going to be x to the 4th power. And it's going to be y cubed to the 4th power. Okay, so 2 to the 4th power. Put in your calculator. Don't write 8. It's not 8. It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. That's x to the 4th. And remember, a power to a power, you multiply these. So y to the 12th. And that's your answer. Okay, 16x to the 4th, y to the 12th. Okay, actually, I'm not going to write them in the right-hand side here. I'll just do the problems and then move on so we can get done with this. Okay? All right. Remember, when you raise a power to power, you multiply. So basically, you're taking your calculator and you're basically saying 2/3 times 3. I don't care. Put it in your calculator. It's cool. You get 2. So the answer to this problem is just x squared. Okay? This one, negative 6 to the 0, if you actually physically typed it in the calculator just the way it is, you would get an answer of negative 1. Because it's saying 6 to the 0 is 1, and then a negative is negative 1. This is different, though. This is saying negative 6 to the 0. That means all in parentheses. And again, if you type that in your calculator, you would get positive 1. Okay, remember when you have a negative exponent, because this is all in parentheses, it moves everything to the bottom of the fraction. So it's this. And then everything gets raised to the 4th power. So 1 over 2 to the 4th, x to the 4th. So 2 to the 4th is 16. So 1 over 16 x to the 4th, and that's your answer. Okay, this next one, that the only thing I touched in that negative 4 is the x. So it's 2 over x to the 4th. That's the answer. The 2 is not touched by it. The number 7a, that's where it's touched. The 2 gets affected by the negative 4. Here it's not. So it's just 2 over x to the 4th. Okay, so remember when you have a negative exponent, it goes to the other side of the fraction. So first of all, 2 over 8, you could reduce that, or you can put it in your calculator. It's 1/4. And then that x negative 3 goes to the bottom of the fraction. So you add that to it, right? So if there are 4 in the bottom, and you have negative 3 and they go down, that would make it x to the 7th. And the negative 7 goes to the top, and that's a 1 here with the y. So if you add that to the top, you get y to the 8th. And that's your answer. You could ignore the 1 too. You can or can't have it, doesn't matter. Okay, so y to the 8th over 4x to the 7th. Okay, so the next one, you're multiplying. That means I'm going to multiply 2 times 4, which is 8. And remember, when you multiply, you add exponents. So negative 3 plus a negative 3. Put it in your calculator. I don't care. You get negative 6. 2 minus 8 is negative 6. They're both negative, so the final answer is 8 over x to the positive 6, y to the 6th. Okay? Okay, moving on here. Now it's solving. So this is pretty mellow. I distribute the negative 3, or the negative 3, so we get negative 3x minus 6 equals 12. This is really easy for you guys. So add 6, so 3x is equal to 18, divide by 3, x is 6. Okay, that's easy. I lost a negative here. Gah! See, let's leave that. That should be a negative here. Okay, so it's negative 3x minus 6. So, sorry, last step, I divide by negative 3. So my answer is negative 6. Sorry about that, okay? So number 11, I like doing this first. I like saying 8 minus 2x equals negative 6. And then subtract 8 from both sides. So negative 2x equals negative 14. Divide by negative 2, x equals 7. Okay. Okay, number 12, I'm just going to distribute. So you get 5x minus 15 equals 4x plus 8 plus 7. Okay. So I'm going to combine like terms on the right, which is really pretty easy. So it's 5x minus 15 equals 4x plus 15. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides and add 15 to both sides. So you wind up getting just x equals 30. Okay? This next one, if I want to solve for x, I got to multiply both sides by 4 over 1, right? The reciprocal of that. So I'm going to multiply this by 4 over 1 and this by 4 over 1. And guys, if you want to use your calculator, 3 halves times 4 over 1, I don't care. But you're going to get 12 over 6. Yeah, 12 over 6 or 12 over 2 or 6. Okay? Solve and graph in the number line. So the only thing you have to remember with this, guys, is you get 4x is greater than or equal to 16. But you have to remember when you divide by negative, you flip the inequality sign around. Okay? So divide by 4. X is greater than or equal to 4. So that's what goes in the blank here. And then you graph it. If you put a 4 here, it's a solid dot, remember? And then it points the same way as the inequality. So it's going to point to the right. And that's your answer. Okay, this next one, if I divide by negative 3, I get x is less than or equal to, because you flip the inequality, so when you divide by negative, negative 6. Okay, so negative 6, solid dot again, and it points to the right. So that goes there. Okay, not bad. Let's keep going here. 16. So solve and graph. This is an and problem. You guys have to remember and problem. And again, you'll see one of every one of these problems on here. So don't be shocked when you get the final and go, oh no, what's and? You've done an and problem, so you should know what it is. So if it's an and problem, you want to look for where does it overlap? Overlap. It's really messy. Sorry. So I'm going to graph each one separately. They're already solved. So here's 2 and here's 8. Make sure you draw it in order, right? 2 and 8. So x is less than or equal to 8. And x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so where does it overlap? It overlaps between 8 and 2. So you're going to put on your answer 2 and 8. And overlaps between 8 and 2. That's what the graph looks like. And what you put in here, remember, it's a between problem. It's a barbell. So you say x is between 2 and 8. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Trying to scroll down here. All right, so or means where there's, you don't talk about overlap. Wherever the line is, that's the answer. So I'm going to solve each one of these. I'm going to subtract 1. So I get 3x is less than or equal to negative 18. Divide by 3. I don't divide by negative, so it stays pointing to the left. So x is less than or equal to negative 6. And this one, subtract 3 from both sides. So you have 2x less than or equal to 8. Divide by negative 2. X is greater than or equal to negative 6. Negative 4, sorry. There we go. All right, just a little distraction here, sorry. Okay, so anyway, if I graph it, I'm not going to do any work yet. Put it on anything on the answer blank. I get negative 6. I have negative 4. So it's less than or equal to negative 6 and greater than or equal to negative 4. Okay, so now the solution to this is it's wherever you see a line. So guys, this is the answer. This is actually what you're going to write on the answer blank or on the number line, and this is what you write in the answer blank. Okay? So the next thing is interval notation. We've never really covered interval notation. Let me talk a little bit about what it means. And I kind of try to write stuff here down. If you have a bracket, that means like x is like less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. And a parenthesis means x is less than or greater than. So the bracket means it's equal to, and the parenthesis means it's not equal to. Okay, just less than or just greater than. Okay, so as an example down here, I said x is between -5 and 3. So it's, you put a bracket because it's less than or equal to, and then you put a parenthesis because it's just less than -5 and 3. So if I ask you to do this problem and I ask you to come up with an interval notation, I'm going to subtract 1. So I get, you guys should know how to solve these guys here. So you get 6 less than or equal to 3x, less than or equal to 18, and then divide by 3. So we get 2 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 6. Okay, so it's between those two, so this is where you're going to write it. It's a bracket because it's less than or equal to, so 2 comma, and another bracket, 6, so it's a bracket like that. Okay, that's your answer to that problem. Okay. All right, 19. So let's do another one of these guys. This is a little weird one. I'm going to move that 5x over. So you think you might see one of these on the final? Probably. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to move that over, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So x is less than or equal to -2. And then this one I'm going to divide by 4. So x is greater than or equal to 3. So if I graph it separately, I get x is, this is -2. X is great or less than or equal to -2. And x is greater than or equal to 3. It's an OR problem, so that would be the answer. But what you're going to put on the blank here, I don't want a number line. You're going to say, guys, think of it. If I'm going to the left, it's like going to infinity, right? -3, -4, -5, -1,000,000, -billion, -trillion. So think of it, put it on your note sheet too. That's probably a good thing. So it's -infinity, and this one's going to positive infinity. You're always going to use a parenthesis, by the way, when you're talking about infinity, because you never really get to infinity. So the way this problem is going to look is going to be -infinity, comma, -2, bracket, because it's a solid dot, and then bracket 3 to positive infinity. That's your answer. Okay? So just get used to it. It's just a little bit. The problems are not that difficult, but you got to get used to it and to be successful in this, okay? Okay, so the next one is absolute value. And remember, we're going to have two answers for this. So this is already solved nicely for you. So it's going to be, well, let me get rid of that. You're going to say 3 minus x equals -10, and 3 minus x equals positive 10. Okay, and then you solve. You got two answers, one positive and one's negative, and you solve. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So -x equals -13. Divide by -1. X is 13. And subtract 3 here. So -x equals 7. Divide by -1. X equals -7. So those are your two answers. 13 and -7. Okay. Okay, 21. Basically, guys, evaluate means you put it in your calculator. Okay, so I'm going to basically do a -2, and then I'm going to write -3. So every time I see an x, I'll put a parenthesis. So I already filled in this -3. But guys, I can guarantee you, if you type it in with all the parentheses in your calculator, hit it equals, you will get -5. It's easy. It's so easy. You type in your calculator. Can't get it wrong. Okay, if I did it manually, if it's -2 times -3 squared is 9, minus 4 times -3, so it's plus 12, plus 1. So it's -18, plus 12, plus 1, and that gives you -5. Okay, what is the slope of this line? You got to use a nice little friendly formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So label it x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug it in. I recommend that you put the negative there first, and then you plug numbers in. So y2, so it's -4. y1 is -1. x2 is -3. x2 is 4. So that becomes positive. And again, I don't put it on your calculator. I don't care. It works. Okay, so you want to be a -3, and the bottom gives you -7. So a negative over negative is a positive. So -3/7. Or +3/7. Okay. What is the y-intercept of the equation? Guys, it's so easy. Remember, it's y equals mx plus b. And there's your b. That's your y-intercept. So your y-intercept in coordinate form is 0, -4/9. That simple. If I asked you what the slope was, you would say 17/5. Okay? All right, Tracy purchased a lifetime fitness membership. The initiation fee is $100. And monthly cost is then $20 every month. If X represents the number of months and Y represents the total cost, write a linear equation modeling total cost of membership. So here's the deal, guys. This is your fixed cost at 100. That's $20 every month. So X is the number of months. So this is my equation. Y is equal to $20 for every month plus the $100 initiation fee. That's the answer to this problem. Okay? Not a really difficult problem. Just need to know that's your variable cost. That's how much it's going to cost per month, per minute, per hour, per ride. And that is what it costs just to join. One fixed price. Okay? All right, 25. The cost to rent a Tesla is $70 plus 50 cents a mile. So they even give you the equation. Here it is. 0.50 plus X times, or plus 70, right? Where X is the number of miles driven and Y is the total cost of renting the car. So remember, Y is the total cost of renting the car. So Steve has budgeted $100 for the day to rent the car. Find the number of miles Steve can drive the car. So if Y is the total cost and you have $100, you're going to set that 100 equal Y. And it's 0.50x plus 70. And then you're solving for X. So you're going to subtract 70. So you get 0.50 X equals 30 and divide by 0.50. So X comes out to be 60. So 60 miles. Okay. Are the graphs parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Guys, remember, if it's parallel, it's same slope. If it's perpendicular, it's opposite and reciprocal slope. So an example would be 2 and -1/2. Those are opposite and reciprocal. Or 2/7 and -7/2. Those are all reciprocal and opposite. Okay? So the first one's already solved. I can look at the slopes. That's 1/2. I got to solve the other one for Y. So I'm going to subtract X. I get -2y is equal to -x minus 10. And then divide by -2. So y is equal to 1/2 x plus 5. So right away, I see a 1/2 here, parallel line. Okay? Pretty easy. Write the equation of a line. So now I'm giving you a slope and I'm giving you a y-intercept. All right? So, so the slope is 5 and the y-intercept is 10. So this is easy. It's y equals mx plus b. So y equals m, which is 5, x plus b. Okay, write the equation of a line with the given slope of -2 and passing through -3, 4. So now I'm giving you got to remember slope, point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so remember this is x1, y1, and this is your slope. So it's y minus 4 is equal to m, which is -2, times x plus 3. Opposite of that, right? Okay, and then you distribute it. So I get y minus 4 equals -2x minus 6. and then I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So y is equal to negative 2x minus 2. Okay, not bad. Okay, let's keep going here. So now I'm giving you 2 points. So the only thing you have to do here additionally is you got to find the slope first. So the slope, remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2, I put the negatives in first, so y2, so it's 7 and negative 3, and then negative 4 and negative 2. Okay, so that's plus, so we get 10, and that's plus, so negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. So the slope is negative 5. Okay, and then you plug it into your point slope form. Then you use whichever point. I'm going to use, I'll use the first point. So y minus y1, so it's y plus 3 equals m, which is negative 5, times x plus 2. So y plus 3 equals negative 5x minus 10, and then subtract 3. So y equals negative 5x minus 13. Okay, that's your answer. All right. Okay, keeping going here. I'm telling you it's parallel to this. That means your slope is 2. It's easy. Don't use that 8. I don't care what that is. That is not even used here, guys. Your slope is 2, and then you got a point here. So let's plug it in the point slope form. So y minus 1 is equal to slope 2 times x plus 4. So minus 1 equals 2x plus 8, and then add 1. So y equals 2x plus 9. Okay, perpendicular. So remember, opposite reciprocal. So I'm going to change the sign. It becomes positive 1/2, but then I flip it, so the slope is 2 over 1, or 2. And then here's your point. So point slope form. So y minus 4 equals 2 times x plus 2. Okay, so y minus 4 equals 2x plus 4, and add 4 to both sides. So y is equal to 2x plus 8. Okay, 32, which one is not the same? So you can tell these are definitely different, right? The other ones you have to solve. So this one I'm just going to divide both sides by, or all sides by 2. No, I'm sorry. I have to add 6x. Let me write it out here. So 2x minus 2y minus 6x equals 10. Okay, and then subtract 2, or add 6x to both sides. So you get 2y equals 6x plus 10, and then divide by everything by 2. So y is equal to 3x plus 5. So A and B are the same. So the one that's different already is C. So the answer is C. It's different. Okay. Okay, 33. What are the equations of the following lines? So it's this line right here, guys. And you guys should know that is an x equals problem, okay? Because remember, it's a vertical line. It's always an x equals, because x equals 2 here. It's 2 everywhere. So this one's x equals 2. This one's a y equals. So y equals 2. Pretty easy. Remember, y is a horizontal line, because upside down y is an h for a horizontal line. Okay, so good here. It's definitely going to be a long video, but I do go over every problem. So this one is just determining if the slopes are positive, negative, or 0 or undefined. Okay, you're going uphill, so it's positive. You're going downhill, so this one's negative. Going left to right, you're cross-country skiing, so C, going this way, left to right, this is 0. And this is up and down, so it's undefined. Okay, it's pretty easy. 33, graph the following line. So I think the easiest way to do that is if you want to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. So I get 3y equals negative 4x plus 12. Divide by 3. So y is equal to negative 4/3 x plus 4. Okay, and then let's plot some points, right? Plot the y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go down 4 and over 3. So down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. Okay, what kind of slope is that? It's a negative slope. Okay, cool. Okay, 36. Find the solution to the following linear equation. So the solution means where the lines cross. Guys, these cross right here. So if I count over negative 1, and then I go down 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, 3. That's my answer to that problem. Okay, pretty easy. 37. 2, 5 is the solution to which of the following systems? So guys, you're just taking the 2, 5 and you're plugging it into all the equations. X is 2, y is 5. Okay, just to get through this kind of quickly here, it works on A. Okay, so 2 times 2, I'm just going to talk it. Here, I can show it, I guess. 2 times 2 minus 5 is equal to negative 1. Yeah, 4 minus 5 is negative 1. That's good. It has to work on both of them, though. So 2 plus 2, or 2 plus 5 is 7, and that works. So A is good, but let's just take the other ones. If I did 2 times 2 plus 5, that give me 9, and I need to be 4. So this one's no good. Let's do C. 3 times 2 minus 5. So 6 minus 5 is 1. That's good. Let's do the second one. 2 plus 5 is 7. It's good too. So that's another one. C is another answer. Let's do D. 2 times 5. Plus 3 times 2. Sorry, it's 2 times 2 plus 3 times 5. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 15, right, is, so it's 4 plus 15 is 19, and 19 is supposed to be 2. So this one's no good. So the answer actually is A and C. So how many solutions does this have? This is kind of an observation. Guys, if the slopes are different, and they both intercept at negative 7. So this is negative 7 down here, but the slopes, one is 2 and one is 4. They're only going to cross one time. The only time they can cross more than one time, like if here's my axis and that was one line here, and I draw another line on top of it, it's an unlimited number of solutions, so that would be infinite solutions. Okay, as opposed to if I gave you a graph like this, here's one line and here's the other line, they're parallel, they'll never cross, that would be no solutions. So this answer to this problem is one solution. Okay. 39, solve a system. So you want to use, in this case I'm going to use elimination, so I'm going to multiply this one by 2. So you get 3x plus 2y equals 4, and then 4x minus 2y equals 10. And the beauty is the y's cancel out, and so you get 7x is equal to 14 divided by 7. X is 2. So 2, and then I plug it into one of the equations, so I'm going to plug in the first one. 3 times 2 plus 2y equals 4. So it's 6 plus 2y equals 4. Subtract 6. So 2y equals negative 2. Divided by negative 2, y is positive 1. Or negative 1, sorry. I'm not dividing by negative 2, I'm dividing by just 2. Okay, so y is negative 1. So my solution to this problem is 2 comma negative 1. Okay, pretty easy. This next one's definitely a substitution problem. So you substitute that y in for this y right here. So it's 3x minus 2 times y, which is 2x, equals negative 2. So 3x minus 4x equals negative 2. So 3x minus 4x is negative x, equals negative 2, divided by negative 1. So, x equals positive 2. And then I plug it into, of course, this one is you want to plug it into. If x is 2, y is 2 times 2, so y is 4. So your answer is 2, 4. Okay, a little bit more here. A mini auditorium can hold 61 people. So this is one of these cost quantity problems. This is actually right off of your note sheet for this chapter. I forgot what chapter it is. Chapter 4, 3 or 4. Okay. Anyway, a mini auditorium can hold 61 people. Tickets to math concert cost $4 for adults and $3 for students. So I'm going to call adults A, and I'm going to call students T, because I don't like S. So it's A plus T is equal to 61, right? The number of people is 61, and $4 for an adult plus $3 for a student is going to be 224. All right, those are your two equations. And then I want to multiply this top one by -3. Because that's going to give you -3a minus 3b equals -183. So this should be a b here, sorry. Okay, so then the b's cancel out. And then we get a is equal to 224 minus 183 is 41. And then I plug it back, so a plus t, so 41 plus t equals 61. Subtract 41 from both sides. It's a terrible 4. T is equal to 20. So they're asking you how many adults. I didn't even need to figure out this. So the answer is 41. Hey, problem number 41 too. That's a coincidence. Okay, all right, last problem here. I shouldn't say last problem. Lots of problems. Okay. Sum of two numbers is 32. So we're going to say x plus y equals 32. And the difference is 14. So x minus y equals 14. This is nice because this cancels out for you. The y's cancel. You get 2x equals 46 divided by 2. So x equals 23. And then x plus y is 32. So 23 plus y is equal to 32. Subtract 23. Y is equal to 9. So those are your two numbers, 23 and 9. Okay. Okay, so number 43, the length of a rectangle is 6 units larger than the width. So length is 6 units larger than the width. So it's W plus 6, okay? And you guys, you got to remember, this should be in your note sheet too, right? The perimeter is 32. So basically you have 2L plus 2W equals 32. And then it's substitution. You take that L, plug it into there. So 2 times W plus 6 plus 2W equals 32. So 2W plus 12 plus 2W equals 32. So 4W plus 12 equals 32. Subtract 12. So 4W equals 20 and divide by 4. So W is 5. So 5 is W, and then you just plug back into L to find out L, or back into that equation to find L. So L is equal to 5 plus 6, which is 11. So you go 11 and 5. Okay, not bad. All right, so now we're graphing systems of inequalities, and I even said don't forget shading and dotted lines. Really, really important. So you have to just basically know how to graph normal lines. So for the first one is -3 is the y-intercept, so you put a point there. And then the slope is 2 over 1, right? So up 2 and over 1. And by the way, this is a dotted line. And it's less than, so you shade below. And then the other one is a 1 here, and it's down 1 over 1. So down 1 over 1, and this is a solid line. So I can do this in a different color. So that's, and it's, like I said, solid line. Okay, and that's shaded above. So I'm going to shade it above. So wherever the black and red overlap, that's your solution. So that means this is our solution right here. Okay, it's really pretty easy to do that. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So this one's a pretty straightforward one too. You have to remember how to graph x equals -2. Remember that is a vertical line, okay? And it's a dotted line. So this is x equals -2. And it's greater than So you shade this way. That's the answer to this problem. Okay, and this one is y equals 1/2 or less than 1/2 x plus 3. So I go again to 3, and then I go down 1 over, up 1 over 2. Right, up 1 over 2 because positive, and this is a dotted line, and it's y is less than, so you shade below. Okay, not bad. Moving on, this is a really fast one. What is the degree? You look for the highest exponent. And so this is the one with the highest exponent, so you want the 6. So it's degree 6. Okay. Combine like terms, 3x plus 7x is 10x. Negative 2y minus 1y is negative 3y. Okay, so that's your answer. Subtract, again, really pretty easy. Make sure you distribute that negative first with all 3 terms. So you get 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 minus x squared plus 2x minus 4. And then you combine like terms. So x squared, 2x squared minus 1x squared is x squared. 5x plus 2x is 7x. And negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. That's your answer. Okay, the next one is distributing. So if I distribute that to all 3 terms, I get negative 6. Remember, you add the exponents. So negative 6x to the 5th minus 4x to the 4th minus 8x cubed. Remember, that's x to the 1 right there. And that's it. That's your answer. Okay? Multiply. Remember, this is FOIL. So 2x times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Right? And then you got to combine like terms. So then we get 8x squared. 10x minus 12x is negative 2x minus 15. Okay, pretty easy. On to 52. Now it's factoring. So this is greatest common factor, guys. You should be factoring out of this one a 6 and an x. And then you have a 6x on the outside, and then inside, right, it's x cubed over x is x squared, and there's a y left over. And please, this is minus 1. If there's 2 terms here, guys, there's 2 terms here. Okay, but anyway, that's our answer. 6x, x squared y, minus 1 in parentheses. Okay, this next one is a greatest common factor as well. So if you know 4 goes into it, and then looking for the different exponents here. So I can write here, greatest common factor. There's a 4, and look, see, you have x cubed, x to the 4th, and x, so it's x. And then we have x to the, or y to the 5th, y to the 4th, y squared, so it's y squared. That's your greatest common factor. So divide each of these by 4xy squared. Okay, so you have 4xy squared. And then you have x squared, right? The 4's canceling, you have x squared, y cubed. And minus 3. And that's going to be x cubed, y squared. And then minus 5. And the x's cancel out and the y's cancel out, so it's just minus 5. That's your answer. Okay, this next one, you got to use the x method, guys. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And that's a 1 here. So 1 times 30 is 30. And the 11, negative 11 goes here. So what multiplies to give you 30 and adds to give you 11? So 6 and 5, right? 6 times 5 is 30, and 6 plus 5 is 11, but it needs to be negative. So negative 6, negative 5. So that's all it is. X minus 6, x minus 5. It's pretty easy. This one, again, ignore, this is a trinomial, so this is just like 54, but I'm going to ignore the y, the extra y, but who cares? You still have 1 times 15 is 15, and this is negative 8. So the only thing that multiplies to give you 15, 3 times 5, but negative 3 and negative 5, right? So it's going to be x minus 3 and x minus 5. And you're like, well, Mr. Curtis, what about the y? Okay, that y goes right at the end. And then you're done. Okay. 56, a little more complicated. That's going to be 30 and negative 11. So again, what multiplies to give you 30 and adds to give you 11? 6 and 5. but they're both negative, so negative 6, negative 5. So remember, it's x minus 6, x minus 5, but don't forget, we got a 6 here. There's a difference. You got to divide both of these by 6. And then you got to slide it over. Well, first divide. So 6 over 6 is 1. So this is just x minus 1. That doesn't reduce, so you flip it over and you get 6x minus 5. And guys, this is an easy problem to check too, especially with multiple choice. Foil it out and see which one you get. Okay? All right, 57. I'm going to do greatest common factor first, which you should always do, which is 2x. So I get 2x, and then I get x squared plus x minus 6. And you should recognize that you can factor this one as well. So using the x method, I get negative 6 here and 1. So what multipliers give you negative 6? 3 and 2. So 3 and 2, and which one's negative? This one, because 3 minus 2 is negative 1, or is it positive 1? So you have 2x times x plus 3, x minus 2. That's your answer. Okay, this one's a difference of two squares. Don't panic with that x to the fourth. Think of it as 25x squared minus 16y squared. If you do that, and you recognize the difference of two squares, this is a 5, and this is an x, and this is a 4, and this is a y. So you would have 5x plus 4y and 5x minus 4y. But because this is the fourth power, these are just squared, that's all. Okay, you think you might see one of these on the test? I'm going to go with yes. Okay? Okay. So now, just another factoring problem, 59. It's pretty easy. X method. So 4 times 9 is 36, and then negative 12. Okay, and then what gives you 36 is 6 and 6, but 6 and 6 is 12, so they're both negative. So you get x minus 6, x minus 6, but because this is not a 1, otherwise you'd be done, you have to divide each of these by 4. So you got to divide first, simplify with your calculator, x minus 3 halves, and x minus 3 halves. Slide it over, so you get 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3. And you can actually write that as 2x minus 3 squared. Okay, next one, factor completely. It's a sum of two cubes. You guys got to be good with this. You should recognize that you should have the form on there. You got to use SOAP. Same sign, opposite sign, always positive, and that's a plus. So the cube root of x cubed is x, cube root of 8 is 2. So if I factor this, I get same sign, opposite sign, always positive. And so I basically have x and 2. And remember, the first one is x squared. The last one is 2 squared, or 4. And the middle one is the product of the two. You multiply them. So 2x. And you're done with the problem. It's that easy. You just have to know the concept, and then you're good to go. Okay, the next several problems it says solve. So you're actually setting these equal. Now this is kind of a friendly one because this is already factored for you. So literally it's x plus 4 equals 0 and 3x plus 5 equals 0. And you solve. So minus 4, x is negative 4. That's one answer. Subtract 5, 3x equals negative 5, and divide by 3. So x is negative 5/3. So those are two answers. Right? Pretty easy. Next one, please don't do anything with the 4. There's no x. If that was 4x, you would have 3 answers, but there's no. It's just a 4. So basically you have x plus 7 equals 0 and 2x minus 3 equals 0. So subtract 7, get x equals negative 7. Add 3, 2x equals 3, divide by 2, x is 3 halves. Okay? Not as easy for the next group here because I have to factor first. So it's going to be use the x method, so you get negative 12 and negative 1. So that's going to be 4 and 3, but the 4 is negative. So you get x minus 4 and x plus 3 equals 0. So set equals 0. So x minus 4 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. Add 4, x equals 4. Subtract 3, x equals negative 3. Okay, pretty easy. 64, please guys, it has to be equal to 0 in order to do this. So I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. So I wind up getting x squared minus 8x. Put it in descending order, right? For x squared, then x, and plus 16 equals 0. And then factor. So you get 16, negative 8x, or negative 8, and then it's going to be negative 4, negative 4. So it's going to be x minus 4 and x minus 4 equals 0. So there's only really one answer because you don't want to set both of them. They're the same thing. So x minus 4 equals 0. Add 4, x equals 4. Okay. We're getting there. This one, I need to move it over. So I subtract 4x. Remember, it's got to be equal to 0, guys. So subtract 4x. So I get x squared minus 4x equals 0. And then I factor out an x. So x equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. Add 4. X equals 4. It's not being nice to me. Oh! Ah! Okay, the word died on me, but that's not a big deal. If the recording program would have died on me, I would have cried, but not a big deal. Okay, sorry, back here. Okay, anyway, let's do this one again here. So I'm going to subtract 4x. Ugh. Okay, maybe this will work now. So if I subtract 4x from both sides. So I get x squared minus 4x equals 0. And then divide out, or factor out an x. So you get x times x minus 4 equals 0. So I get x equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. So this one's easy. Add 4 to both sides, x is 4. So I get 4 and 0. Okay? 66, you got a cube there, guys, and they each have an x, so you're going to factor out an x. That's going to be another solution. So you get x times x squared minus 9x plus 20 equals 0. Okay, and then you got to factor this part. So you get 20. It's negative 9 here. So what gives you negative 9? 5 and 4. Oops, 5 and 4. Negative 5 and negative 4. Okay, so I get x parentheses x minus 5, x minus 4 equals 0. And I said each of those equal to 0. So the first one is easy, x equals 0. This one's x minus 5 equals 0. And x minus 4 equals 0. So this one's set. I'm going to add 5. I get x equals 5. So that's an answer. And I'm going to add 4, so x equals 4. So I have 3 answers, 0, 4, and 5. Okay, 67, solve for x and determine the sum of the solutions. So it's just a little bit more involved here, but I'm factoring that. So if I factor it, I get, using the x method, get negative 14. I get negative 5, and I get, so basically negative 7 and 2. Okay, so I get x minus 7 times x plus 2 equals 0. So let me move this down a little bit. So I add 7. I get x equals 7, and I subtract 2, so I get x equals negative 2. And so these are my two answers, but I'm asking you for the sum of the solutions. So 7 minus 2, or 7 plus a negative 2 is 5. So my answer to this one is 5. Okay, number 68, this is the last chapter, guys. So that cancels, and that's my answer. 3x plus 4 over x plus 2. This one I got a factor of 4 out of it, a 4x actually. So factor of 4x, I get 4x, and then if I divide each of those by 4x, the top ones, I get x minus 4 on top, and on the bottom I get 8x to the fourth. So basically I simplify this now. And you guys agree that's just the 4 and the x cancels, so I get just x minus 4 on top. And the bottom I get the 4 cancel, and then I add a 2. And if I have a battle, the bottom won by 3. So that's your answer, x minus 4 over 2x cubed. Okay. This one you got to factor. So it's the difference of two squares. So x plus 5, x minus 5 over x plus 5. That cancels, and I just get x minus 5. Okay, the next group, I'm going to go kind of quickly here because I just need to factor everything. But basically you get x minus 3, it's a difference of two squares, x minus 3, x plus 3. And the bottom factors to x minus 5, x plus 3. So that cancels, and I just have that left over, x minus 3 over x minus 5. Okay, the next one, everything's kind of canceled for you already, or factored for you, which is really nice. So the x plus 3s are gone. And basically I have, if I put everything together now, though you can battle the x's if you want. Watch this. See, I have x to the 5th, I have x squared. So that becomes x cubed. And that cancels, right? The top one by 3. And the 2 over 6 is 1/3, so 1/3. So basically what you have is x cubed times x minus 2 over 3 x plus 2. That's your answer. Okay, this one, my suggestion is multiply it all together and then figure it out after it. So if I multiply it together, I get 12. Remember, this is x to the 1. So you add exponents, 12x to the 6th, y squared over 30 x squared y to the 7th. And you can put that in your calculator. The 12 over 30 is basically 2/5. And the x's, with the north wins by 4, so x to the 4th. And the bottom wins by 5, so that's your answer. Okay, got 2 more to do. Okay, this is just this is a lot of factoring, guys. This is all factoring. So I'm just going to do it quickly because I need to get this video done here. X minus 3 times x plus 2. That's what the first one factors to. Over x minus 3. X minus 3. And then that one factors to x minus 4. X minus 1. Over x minus 4. And x plus 2. You guys should be really good with factoring. So things cancel, x minus 3's cancel, x plus 2's cancel, x minus 4's cancel. So your answer is x minus 1 over x minus 3. Okay, pretty easy. And the last one is division. So make sure you flip that one. So I'm going to factor the top, or this left-hand side first. It's x plus 3, x minus 3, and the bottom is x plus 4, x minus 4, and times, and I'm going to flip it, x plus 4 over x minus 3. Okay, and then cancel. X minus 3's cancel, x plus 4's cancel, and I just have x plus 3 over x minus 4, and you're done with the problem. Okay, so guys, if you know this review sheet, you are golden, man. All the concepts are the same, numbers are different, but that's it. So hopefully you guys are good to go with your final exam, because you guys need to study hard, all right? That's it, math fans. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.